Throughout the tenure of the MCU, perhaps no threat has been as long-lived and as dire as that is the Mad Titan Thanos. Marking his debut during the first Avengers outing, the first 10 years of Marvel projects have been centered around watching Thanos' master plan to assemble all 6 of the Infinity Stones. While his goal in the first Avengers film seems to be collecting the Tesseract from Earth, there is a distinct possibility that there was actually much more to this plan than we were all initially led to believe. So, stick with us today, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, and let's explore the evidence that the invasion of Earth was never actually designed to steal the Tesseract, and there was actually a much more elaborate plan taking place underneath the surface of this one. First, there are a few key plot holes that lead us to wonder why Thanos even allowed the invasion of Earth to begin with. It has been confirmed that Loki was first being influenced by the Scepter during his time on Earth, and that Thanos deliberately made him much more aggressive in order to set him on his quest. We also know that Thanos far outpowers Loki, and that Loki is utterly terrified of the Mad Titan. Yet, during the Avengers, they are presented more as business partners. They each have a desire and seem to have come to a mutual agreement, one in which Loki gets to conquer Earth, and he will offer 2 Infinity Stones to Thanos in return. Despite this, Thanos has the power to not only threaten Loki into doing what he wants, but he has the power to mind control the God of Mischief. This then leaves us to wonder, if Thanos was controlling Loki with the Mind Stone and making him more aggressive, then why not just make Loki steal the Tesseract and return without the invasion ever actually taking place? Why didn't Thanos force Loki to do exactly what he wished without offering him anything in return? After all, this would have drawn much less attention to both Thanos and his plan, as well as placed 2 Infinity Stones within his possession. One prominent fan theory proposes that the true motive of this maneuver was not actually intended to conquer Earth, nor was it even to get the Tesseract, but it was meant to destabilize the kingdom of Asgard, and to weaken Odin himself. According to this theory, Thanos was not actually after the Space Stone, but instead he sought to weaken one of the most powerful defense forces in the galaxy, and do so in order to make way for the remainder of his conquest. We know that Midgard, or Earth, is under the protection of the Asgardian royal family, and that Odin is prepared to step in when external forces threaten Midgard, especially forces that originate from within the 9 realms. He came to the aid of humanity during the invasion of the Frost Giants, and was worshipped as a god on Earth for centuries due to his routine intervention in human affairs, indicating that he was on Earth far more often than is just this single conflict. And Odin has helped Earth out numerous times, and the Mad Titan Thanos is aware of this, and aware that Odin, right now at least, is his greatest threat. If, however, Thanos was able to weaken the royal family and tamper with the stability of the Asgardian ruling class, then he might have been able to continue his mission without the interference of Odin or the rest of the Asgardian military. By using the Asgardian prince and heir to the throne, Thanos set in motion a series of challenges for Thor and his family to face, and stood to gain a lot of power from this maneuver. Instead of bearing the direct wrath of Odin for his assault on Midgard, Odin would instead turn his anger toward his own adopted son, not only distracting him, but draining him of his energies as well. This struggle, paired with the sibling rivalry between Thor and Loki, would have allowed Thanos to continue his quest undetected, as Odin now had much larger problems to worry about after his son led an invasion against one of the 9 realms. After all, we saw what happened when Thor did the exact same thing just a year prior to this event. When Thor invaded Jotunheim in the first Thor movie, he incurred his father's full rage, and as a result, he ended up getting banished and causing Odin an extreme amount of undue stress and distraction, which steered him away from his duties as king, and also led to one of the most powerful Asgardians being missing from action. This also led to him falling into the Odin sleep, which left him utterly defenseless for when the Frost Giants returned under Loki's guidance. While Thor, of course, was nowhere to be found and was unable to defend Asgard. The events of the first Thor movie were the most exposed and vulnerable that Asgard has likely been in recent memory, with the 2 sons of Odin unable to defend him as he rested. The Frost Giants were able to march into the royal palace, where Laufey spoke directly to Odin and came within mere seconds of assassinating him, showing just how weak Asgard truly was in this fateful moment. It stands to reason that Thanos had been watching Asgard closely for years, measuring their defenses in order to assess the best way to get to Midgard, and he was likely well aware of the events that transpired during Thor's first solo film, which may have even inspired this plan to begin with. We know that Thanos does his research, and many theories has claimed that he only started pursuing the stones after Odin's death. which seems to make sense given what we know about Thanos and his fear of the Asgardian military, as one of the only forces in the universe able to contend with his own forces, as well as the Infinity Stones. If it weren't for the intervention of the Avengers, however, then the invasion of New York likely would have gone down much differently, which would have aided Thanos on his quest immensely. In Thanos' original plan, it makes sense that sooner or later, Odin would interfere and take Loki back to Asgard, where he would then be severely punished for his actions, just like how Odin interfered with the invasion of Jotunheim. From here, Loki likely would have been banished or imprisoned, and neither Odin or Thor would be in a good headspace, leaving them open for Thanos to sneak past with minimal issue. The two Infinity Stones, the Tesseract and the Scepter, both would have likely remained on Earth, in which case Thanos could very easily send in another herald to discreetly retrieve them, or they would have been taken to Asgard. If they were taken to Asgard, then Odin, Loki, and Thor would be so preoccupied with their own political and familial issues that Thanos might have been able to mount yet another retrieval mission, be it by force or sending in another covert operation as mentioned before, by each taking advantage of Asgard's royal instability. From here, the Time Stone and Reality Stone were also under Odin's protection, meaning that if his plan had been successful, he might have been able to get up to 4 stones by capitalizing on Asgard's weakness. When the Avengers intervened, however, the 2 stones were separated, leaving Thanos to reevaluate and replan in accordance with this new development, and Thor's newfound connection with Earth's mightiest heroes meant that Thanos had to take a step back. This would have led him to studying the Avengers, delaying his plans until he could assess their own strengths, weaknesses, and ways to exploit them, biding his time until the pieces lined up and he was finally able to strike and move directly for the stones. But anyway, my friends, what do you think of this theory? Do you think that Thanos was trying to destabilize Asgard? And if so, how successful do you think his plan would have been without the Avengers? Do you think that this was in fact Thanos' original plan? And what do you think would have happened if it was completely successful? Leave your own thoughts and theories in the comments down below. And as always, hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and I hope you have a great day.